Hey guys, if you love QF's content on our free Sundays and Thursday sessions, then please visit our Patreon page in the description and sub to the Black Kluge tier or higher for full access to not only our bonus weekly Tuesday night shows and the alternate Sunday shows you've been missing, but also to the exclusive episodes not available to the lower tiers. It's roughly the price of one coffee a month, and nobody at Starbucks will make you laugh like we do for that kind of scratch. In addition, when you sub to the Black Kluge tier, you'll get 2 weeks advance access to each Thursday session on Patreon before it makes it to YouTube.
Now look, I don't want to get into a long explanation. That's not what I came here for. My audience isn't here. They're here to laugh. Hour and a half. I have not taken a break. Spread the word about Sirius. We do not take commercial breaks that often. Let's go ahead to Randy. I don't want to be in a wig and a purse. I do that in my personal life.
Jeff, I don't want anybody touching me.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm with you.
Sometimes, like, hey, man, what's up?
Yeah, you touch me because you're paid to touch me.
I'm not saying I was the biggest stud, but I got mine. And I fucked some pretty good-looking women. Way before I was Howard Stern on the radio. Fuck off. Assholes. The nose I have now is gigantic, and the fact of the matter is, the reason it looks different on Letterman, which I've explained a million times, is that I keep the camera so far back on the E! Show, and I only shoot from the right-hand side. You wouldn't turn the children against me, would you?
I would try.
She would, too.
She's coming and she's fighting on all sides.
No, but I'd win that one.
I wouldn't even have to do anything. If you ever did anything to hurt me, they would hate you.
I wouldn't hurt you. I just want to go out and have sex with some women.
Listen, by the way, considering what I'm going through, I feel horrible that your smoking hot girlfriend went to a movie without you last night.
And then came home.
Can I say something about that, though?
And then came home.
Let's be honest, though.
When he was knee-deep in Johnny Walker Blue.
Well,
It's a bachelor party.
I think it was a good idea for the beginning of it.
Yeah, I think you would have been just as weird. If we started at the beginning, you go, oh my God, everyone's staring at me.
Not me. I love it. I love when people
He
stare.
loves to be stared at.
I love it.
Move into Sam's house and get the fuck out of our lives. We'll get Beetlejuice to pick out our shirts.
Get fatter. There are more of those fucking things.
Beetlejuice will pick out Howard Church. You can live with Sam and blow him. You're being a little,
and not only that,
baby there.
No,
not only that,
I'm just trying to weigh it
You
up.
can't live without a stylist in your life?
Not only that,
I'm thinking who would be easier to replace?
I think Ralph, of course.
But there's a lot of
the
guys
guy
who
who picks out your clothes.
Chris, could you date Ralph? Would you?
No.
You couldn't? Why?
Look at that smile. He's lying.
You're lying.
Robin,
Tell the
please.
truth. Could you date Ralph?
Date Ralph?
No.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
I
please.
could.
No.
We would have the best time, Robin. I wouldn't
I
talk
couldn't
to
date
you.
Ralph.
You wouldn't talk to me.
I couldn't date Ralph, but I could fuck him. I'd fuck his brains out.
Well, maybe. Maybe.
If you
A lot
guys
of
were,
people feel that way.
I know Ralph is straight, but all right, now I understand.
All right.
I don't understand. I can't understand gorgeous.
It's a straight place.
No guy. Let me just say something about men. No man
Says gorgeous.
says gorgeous.
Really?
This restaurant is gorgeous.
Okay.
You got to understand something. Guys don't
Next-
talk that way.
next
Guy
time.
goes, hey, it was a good lunch.
It was sort of set
Well, the sketch, what the controversy was, it was Patrick Swayze, who's, gorgeous.
Welcome, ladies and gents, to QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. I'm your host, Phil Moore, a.k.a. Jim Fix. And with me for Hair System of a Dunce is the running title for this one is Miss Raven. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, fabulous.
Hello, everybody.
We came up with the Photoshop just on a bunt. It was like Raven, first of all, she sent a GIF to me that's this flying wig going through the air from left to right. You said it was used during the morning threads back in the day, but I don't remember seeing it.
Oh, I used to use it quite a bit back then. And all you have to do in GIFs is search flying wig, and it pops right up. It's black, and it just flies across in like the sky.
It's perfect.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, we're going with the March 3rd and March 4th, essentially, because we're gonna go for the newest first, right?
Right. I figured let's just stay with the most current stuff because nothing else stands out. It's all the same shit.
A lot of it is, yeah. Except when it comes to people passing away and stuff. Obviously, that's very topical at the moment when it comes out. But then you guys, since the person's dead, there's no, except for the Gene Hackman story, that's still updating now, and it's looking like, the way that a lot of people would put it, including NT, is like his kids did him in for the inheritance. And I don't think so. I think that's just people were looking too much into it. But who knows? It might have happened. Stranger things have certainly happened.
It's a very odd story, and I don't know what to make of it yet. I'm still putting the pieces together on it. I don't know.
Yeah,
they didn't have any video cameras.
No.
And so there's no proof of anything. And the neighbor said that he was very reclusive.
Yep.
Which makes it even harder.
Yep. Because unless they find some DNA stuff there, like the kids' footprints, like people walking around, fingerprints, that kind of stuff, but then again, if his kids were welcome there all the time, that wouldn't be out of the ordinary. They're going to have to do a lot of work to make this one stick. So I guess they'll rely on CCTV cameras or something like that. I don't know how much their effort is going to be expended. At any rate, guys, we're going to go with March 3rd. And this one is good. All these clips are great. The titles are great. And there's one that I'm going to play first before I announce what it is, because you'll laugh after you hear the actual clip. And then I think it works better that way. But the first one is called Grandson Needs a Silkwood Shower. Right, Robin?
Right.
Day yesterday. Well, it was good and it was bad because my grandson was supposed to spend the day with me, but then he got a bad cold. So, so we decided to delay that family day because, I can't get a cold because then I can't do the important job that I have, which is
That's right. It would keep you from us.
Yeah.
King baby trumps real baby.
Oh my gosh, this kid! I mean, if Wiggy's kids are smart enough, they'll figure out every time they go to see him, just have the kid get a cold, and then they can get out of the visit. Or the other thing that came up with this was he talked about not being able to see his kid, but you know what he did instead? He saw Bon Jovi for Bon Jovi's birthday. And then he was texting with Sammy Hagar.
Yep.
So starfucking trumped seeing his own grandchild.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's a later clip, but yeah, it's in this day,
we'll get
guys.
To it.
Yep. Next one. Some of these are longer than normal. Young hip Zoompa who has swollen prostate and trickles pee into his orthopedic shoes.
To the point where, you're walking down the street with them and they go, Grandpa!
No.
And you have to turn around.
Yeah, well, I don't do walking down the street, so I don't have anything to worry about. I have a young, hip image to maintain. A lot of our listeners are in their 30s and 20s, and they need to relate to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he can barely walk as it is. We've known that, we've seen the progression of the fact that he's just got to go slower and slower, and he's bitching he says Beth bitches that he can't keep up with her anymore.
Right, and he's on a treadmill at like 2 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Or 2 kilometers per hour, whichever it is. That's
who knows,
ridiculous.
whatever it is. Yeah, it's at that point you're almost going backwards. Go ahead.
Remember him walking down the steps on Ellen like 8 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
And Beth's got to hold his elbow and he can't see where he's going.
Yes.
That was years ago, and he was blind as a bat and decrepit and hunched over. And nothing's changed. It's just gotten worse.
And even when he's leaving Craig's, you remember that little video footage? I think it's Craig's or Letterman. I think it's Craig's. And he's looking like he's looking away. Like there's lights on him, first of all. And I'm not talking just the flashes from the phone cameras and actual cameras that they paid for the cops to be there. Or they tipped them off. Like, please come. Make us look like we're famous. And he looked like he was staring into a black hole. Like he couldn't make anything out. You know that look you can see in people's faces when they can't make shapes out or something and they're trying to focus, like they're looking at the eye chart desperately. Right. That's the look he had then, and I'm like, holy fuck, this guy really is blind as a fucking bat.
Not to mention the curb he had to step down was like 2.5, 3 inches tops.
There was nothing to it.
And that was a struggle.
Right. He was going down like he was leaving Mount Olympus or something. Next one, guys. Young, hip, dead Don hated saying his age.
I think in that business of being an agent, Don was kind of correct. It's weird. Everyone wants the young, hip agent, so there is a certain amount of, hey, he's too old, Like, because some people used to say to me, are you still with Don? Is he still, like it was almost like a put down, like, well, I guess you're loyal. Like, meaning, well, he's older. So I was like,
and
I don't care what age.
Possibly be doing the job. Yeah.
If he was 150, I would have fucking had him negotiate for me. That's how good he was. I didn't care about his age. But Don, I guess Don had his finger on the pulse of these young actors and stuff, and they want the young hip agent. So I guess he was keeping it real. I think that's as good as explanation as you'll ever get. But he was very concerned with me destroying my young hip image, and I was like, I don't even care. I only wish someone would throw me out of the business for being too old. I seem to be leaving. But I did stay up and watch most of the Oscars.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So his young hip actors that he represents, let's just say Ralph Macchio is probably the biggest name.
They're in their 50s and 60s. If they're the youngest, they're like 50s.
That's young and hip.
Yeah.
But Don's thing was he would never say his age. So when they had a birthday party for him, probably like his 80th, because he died at 83.
Yeah.
It was verboten to say his age. And he always told Howard, never mention your age. Like when he had the 60th birthday party on Super Bowl weekend, he didn't want him advertising it as the 60th.
That's right.
He wanted it just a birthday celebration.
But, but the thing is, and like I'm going to bring back an analogy here. When Bernie Brillstein was a legendary manager in the business, he managed most of the SNL, the first cast of SNL, but then Richard Dreyfuss later on, Roseanne for a short time. He had a hand in The Sopranos. He was a pretty hip guy over the years. Chris Farley later on, some of the guys from later SNL. He always had huge, because he was friends with Lorne Michaels as well. And when he got together with Brad Gray, who was a lot younger, he pointed him out to himself. He just said, look, it made perfect sense for Brad to tell me, look, your roster is kind of, not exactly cutting edge anymore or hip. So why don't we join forces? I need the numbers. You need a little bit more youth injection into your thing. So let's get together. Let's pool our resources and make Brillstein Gray. And they did. And they became huge. So he was a guy not ashamed to understand, or not afraid to look at, to know what his station was, what his age was. And later on he goes, look, Brad didn't need me. I needed him more than he needed me, but we both work really well together. And
I see.
And so with Buchwald and Howard, the reason why Howard maintained loyalty was not because Don was such a great negotiator. He did fuck up from time to time. There's no question, particularly with the Howard TV stuff. According to a serious problem, there was a clause in the Howard TV contract that if they didn't re-sign, or if they didn't get re-signed or find some other avenue, On Demand or Sirius would own the Howard TV tapes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a major fuck up. Apparently Don missed it in the contract. There was some clause or whatever that suddenly, that's why, and certainly there's a lot of things Howard doesn't have control of. The Channel 9 shows are still everywhere.
Yeah, those are some fuck ups for sure.
Yeah. So
not covering all his bases.
That's right. And so the other thing is he wasn't going to start trusting some brand new agent with all of his secrets. It was Don or nobody. He couldn't afford to tell more people about the full litany of history of his bullshit and what he wants covered up.
And, right. Also, Don was a mentor to him. He taught him, about changing his look and getting what not to do, what direction to point him in. And for the most part, he was pretty right on certain things. But one of the things with the Oscars being the weekend before these clips was Don's was not in the in memoriam.
No, he wasn't.
On TV. He was on like a QR code you could scan if you were at the Oscar ceremony and see all the other subpar people that didn't make the elite list to be shown on TV.
Right.
So he was a little pissy about that, but otherwise it really, Howard was his main guy. And I think Howard's starting to realize now how he's getting snubbed, like with Adam Levine getting chopped out of the retelling of the birthday clip when he played Prince's Purple Rain.
That's a great one. We'll hit that the next breakdown for sure, because it's a great clip.
So his irrelevancy and the fact that NBC, who he used to work for, wants nothing to be wants nothing to do with him. They don't want to be associated with him anymore. The Oscars, they're on ABC. That's a Jimmy Kimmel thing. Even he wasn't hosting, it was Conan, but he doesn't have any pull to get Wiggy or Buchwald put into anything.
Nope.
So it's just sort of like we're seeing with the Call Her Daddy podcast and her being his replacement or backup or young, new, take up the mantle kind of for what Howard used to do. All these things, they have to be getting to him. He has to be, I mean, he's not self-aware enough to maybe catch clues, but he is for sure very pissy. And when we get to the next day's clips, even Andy Cohen is trolling him.
Yeah.
For beef and the Housewives.
Housewives, yeah. Well, you know, the funny thing is, for years, people have been sending me brochures when they go rent a car. There's the XM brochure that usually comes at the dealership, whatever. If it includes XM, Sirius XM in the car. And he said, look, Howard's not on the front. You can, so he's sort of shoved in the middle, and that famous picture of him doing, you know, from the Comes Again cover of the book. And then C.A. Thompson just sent me something at a Sirius XM looking for her to renew, and Howard's nowhere to be found on the inside, on the outside. So that's indicative of, clearly that's indicative. You don't, if you're a Coca-Cola company, you don't advertise the other product on your lineup before you advertise Coca-Cola.
No, he's been replaced by like Kevin Hart and Conan, you know, different people that even Andy, I think, gets his picture out there sometimes.
Yep.
But yeah, he's been definitely shelved by a lot of people.
Yep. Nasty old hacky anorexic goblin calls out young, relevant, pretty women with talent.
Those two are super thin, but you're not supposed to today comment on any woman's body being too thin, I think so.
Did you think they were too thin? You never have said anybody's too thin.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever too thin, but those two gals might need to share a sandwich. But
doesn't that count as body shaming right there?
Yeah, he says you're not supposed to talk about women's weight these days, but then he goes ahead and does it anyway.
He does it anyway.
He's talking about Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo from Wicked.
From the stars of Wicked.
They did the opening set with a bunch of songs from the movie at the Oscars. So there was a lot of Oscar talk. I just didn't find much of it worth commenting on. He did seem to pick on, again, I didn't clip it because there's only so much worth clipping. But Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos were doing a bit on the red carpet before the Oscars, where they had access to Conan backstage and what he was doing and how chill he was and what a professional he was. So Howard spent, 15 minutes just bashing those two and how him and Robin would have been better and they should have access to Conan before the Oscars and talking about him. And then later they're like, oh no, we don't want that job. That's too much. That I couldn't deal with all that. And first of all, neither of them are leaving their residence, wherever that might be for Robin. No. That's another question that's come up. But these two they always equate themselves with people of greatness. And then not even that Mark and Kelly are that great, but the fact that they got the gig says something for them. And Howard and Robin aren't getting any gigs. They're just sitting on their podcast in their basements or wherever they are, wherever she is, bitching and being completely clueless. Like when Gene Hackman died, Robin kept confusing it with Gene Wilder. I meant to go back and get that one for you, and I'm so sorry, everybody, but it's just more of this like dementia-ridden senior citizen radio that we get.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is when you remember at the end of Casino or near the end of Casino, there's a scene where, De Niro walks in with a coterie of people and they go sit at a table. And then there's just Frank Vincent and the guy who plays Joe Pesci's character's brother. And then Joe Pesci's sitting at a table alone with a bunch of cigarette and cigar smoke around them. And they go, look at that guy. He wouldn't even look at me now. And then they go, they said, looks like they're having a good time too. And he goes, yeah, so are we. They're by themselves. That's Howard and Robin in a nutshell. If you want to think of a movie analogy. So, and that it's only going to get worse for him. It is only going to get worse. Like he's only going to get more marginalized if that's even possible.
It is. And we're going to see it. It's just a matter of time. And I can't even imagine the amount of listeners because all you hear about are people canceling. You don't hear about people joining up, raving about the show.
No.
And here's a perfect example. They asked Conan before the Oscars to come on his show.
Mm-hmm.
And Conan was like, no, I'll come on and promote something else in the future. And so what you're going to hear next is him being pissy about Conan, even though Conan did a phenomenal job. I haven't seen all of the Oscars, but I did see his opening monologue and a few jokes he had.
Yeah.
He ripped on Drake with the whole Kendrick Lamar thing, saying I'm lawyered up, don't worry. But Howard has to find any angle he can to put down Conan. Yes. And I find that really horrible because, again, Conan is on Sirius. But they didn't even know that Sirius bought the Conan podcast for $150 million.
So
the staff had to tell him.
It's the same as the Call Her Daddy thing. It's not exclusivity. It's just paying for the rights to use it.
Completely.
150 million?
For 5 years. And that was in 22. So we are in year 3 of that. Or maybe year 2. I don't know when it started. Maybe if it started in 23, then we would be in year 3. So he's got this year and 2 more. But it's not exclusive.
Well, that's the stupidest deal ever. But what it is that's the amount of money Conan said, okay, if you want the show, this is what it's going to cost you to air the show on Sirius. We know you have money. And so it's at that rate, $30 million a year, basically, just to fucking play a show that you can get anywhere else for free. YouTube.
And I think he's got what's called Team Coco. So there's other podcasts associated, not necessarily with him, but that get played along with his show on the channel.
It was like Letterman's worldwide pants production company or that kind of thing, or Carson Productions. He's got an umbrella.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Next one, guys, is Wig pissy that Conan rejected him. Hence what we're talking about.
Poor Conan. No one's been looking at Conan. No one cares about Conan. And then all of a sudden,
even Conan said he wanted to host the show so he could get an invite.
So that, like, there's no reason for that except that you're being a bitch. Like, you're basically being a pouty little fucking baby. And it's amazing that this gets out there, but yet it doesn't. It's just dangling. Like, if we don't record, if we don't play it, most people are not going to fucking hear it. Like, the people that listen to us are listening to us to get the show through us. The clip, it's the bits that we think, or, they're listening to other, Stern podcasts or whatever. But most of the time, they're like, this just disappears on the Vine. Like, it doesn't, it dies on the Vine. There's no blowback. He'll do whatever he can to press release it. He'll send it to Empty Lighthouse Magazine on .com or whatever the fuck, kibblesandbits.com. I don't fucking know. But basically, it's not what the old days were, which Page Six would have a big thing up. Howard Stern complaining about Conan O'Brien, big, controversy, whatever, and to get in the Inquirer. That doesn't happen anymore.
Nobody cares. Not a soul.
So the next one is shitting on Conan post Oscars.
After Conan got fired by NBC, his his party access was given. He was vanquished to second tier.
That's right. He
maybe third.
Was put back in several rows, I would say.
Then he got even getting the job on TBS. Let's face it, not great.
That's not an upfront position.
And this from a guy who put him in that stupid interview book and claim that was he was the best guest ever, which we all know that's horseshit. That was him. I don't even know why that angle. Why Conan of all people?
I think he was just pandering to him at the time to get him to come on the show. Now, he had been on the show in the past.
Oh yeah, infamously with the Jackie puppet. I love that one.
Jackie puppet. Yeah. It's just now Conan had come up in power and relevancy and had a younger audience that enjoyed him, and he was funny. He's very intelligent. He was a Harvard guy or a Yale guy?
Yep. He wrote for
SNL.
SNL, yeah, absolutely. And then maybe even other shows as well. I think maybe even Roseanne, I'm not sure.
Right. It might have been Letterman for a while.
Yep.
I can't remember, but he's definitely been around the block, and he gets good guests. He gets Larry David. He gets all kinds of comedians. People enjoy him.
Yes.
And he's not pretentious.
No.
Even though he makes tons of money and he's in these elite crowds, he comes off as very genuine and very appealing to the average person, at least in my opinion. But he's everything that Howard isn't, as far as great sense of humor, likable, and maintained a career that he built himself through his own intelligence and hard work. Where Howard always depended on other people to get him where he is, whether it was Don or Billy or Jackie or Artie. There was always other people that had to prop him up, and now it's a staff of 70 shitty staff.
Well, and part-time, very, very, very part-time, 70. The next one, guys, is all about what he promoted recently, which was that he was going to have AI Ralph. Now, Raven figures that this is, and it does sound like it to me too, Wilding doing a Ralph impression. And as an impression goes, it's actually not bad, except that, it's scripted. I mean, he's got the stuff written down. Like as good as Wilding might be at some things, which he's got a modicum of talent. There's no question, but he's not a Don Rickles. He's not going to fire off, boom, 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 like out of his mind, at like the Jonathan Winters type of stream of consciousness. He's not that good. So, you guys judge for yourself based on the audio, but yeah,
it's all stuff that took him, pre-writing.
Yeah.
It wasn't off the cuff. It was all stuff that was manufactured beforehand and then written out so Howard could ask him exactly what he wanted him to ask so that he could, reel off these impressions of Ralph, which I posted in our Facebook group, which my nightmare has come true, that they brought his corpse back from the dead, which Ralph is one guy. I know some people enjoyed him, because he was just so crass and rude and self-entitled. But there was just something about him. I can do without this. I don't need to relive those days. He never did a thing for me or made me laugh. He just made me hate him and his whole attitude and the way he was such a degenerate and just got away with shit because he was the boss's girlfriend.
Very, very few recommending features, like very few things to recommend his virtues. There weren't any. So the first one is AI Ralph shits on JD.
Well, now that you're dead, have you been keeping up with the show at all? I'm assuming you're in heaven. Have you been keeping up with the show?
Yeah. What the hell is going on with JD? Like,
what do you mean?
He's super fat, but he gambles like a degenerate. Like, maybe go to a gym and invest in some Apple stock, dopey. And does he not know Ozempic exists? Like, there's a shot that makes you thin now, dummy. And what's with that beard? He looks like a chubby terrorist. Oh, he's a moron. Thank you.
Now, that also could be, and if I believe it's actually enhanced electronically as well. Like, I think Wilding might have got the cadence down, but the voice is kind of tough to do. So he pitched it in such a way that it sounded a little bit like Ralph, whatever, which is, okay, technically impressive, I suppose, but it's not really. Do you want AI anybody, or do you want the real person?
Here's the thing. They did I had 7 clips of what they call AI Ralph, which I think is Chris. Yeah. And I gave you the JD one and one about Ladyboys because
that's right.
The others were all talking about the Oscars, like bashing Wicked or Amelia Perez or Substance. And I just didn't find them as entertaining. Not that I find any of this entertaining, you know what I mean? Like, but I had to give you guys an example of what they're presenting to us. So this took up like a half hour of Wilding and Howard talking about dumb stuff. But these two just kind of, any bashing of JD, I'll take. And the Ladyboy thing, well, give that a listen.
Yep. This is the one, AI Ralph and Ladyboy Truther.
Ralph, you're into tech. Why does Instagram, like, why does the algorithm keep showing me Ladyboys?
The same reason it shows them to me. I jerk off to them. Ooh. Oh, I don't know, Howard. It's so weird. I don't know why this is happening. Oh, I didn't know she had a cock until I came. Oops.
All right, buddy.
What is he implying, Howard?
Yeah.
I don't know, but we do miss you, and it's good to talk to you.
He's not implying anything. He's saying you jerk off to Ladyboy porn, asshole.
Oh, man. Today was an hour of straight Ladyboy talk. Yeah. They finally got to Wilding interviewing the twink, not twink, Trini, who is the Ladyboy from Taiwan. That is Howard's favorite.
Taiwan or Thailand?
I guess Thailand. My bad.
Yeah.
Sorry. And so Chris Wilding did an interview with him and her boyfriend, and it kind of flopped.
Yeah.
There was nothing to learn about it. It was just Howard doing his god-awful impression of Ladyboys and how they talk, basically making fun of this person, Trini. I keep getting it wrong. Sorry. It's when I hear this stuff, I almost want to tune it out, but then I'm like, I got to listen for clips. Yeah. So it's a double-edged sword sometimes.
Well, what's funny is whenever he gets, and this is the funny thing about Howard, he's not funny, but that's funny about him. Remember when it was probably 2019, I guess. Yeah, 2019, 2019, I think, when he brought out the Ronnie puppet and the sock puppets. He was doing sock puppets on the fucking air. And then he kept doing the Ronnie impression or having someone or Fred do the Ronnie impression. And it was awful. Like, it was just shit. And they could not stop doing it. Like he's never known when a bad bit is enough. Or when, or a good bit, like when SNL has the same problem. They get success with one sketch, then they redo the sketch over and over again because some of those performers are just desperate for approval and, getting a better gig or getting more time on the air because they're whores for fame. And with him, though, it's like now it's not even trolling. It's him looking for basically whatever fills up the fucking day. I don't care. I need something new bits, even if they're shit, that's fine.
One, he likes funny voices. So like Chris Wilding will always do the Dr. Now voice, which I hate. Yeah.
Bottom line is he just doesn't know when a bit is run into the ground, even if it's shit. And so he's just about filling up time. And if that works for him, then it's fine. The next clip, guys, I'm going to play, and then I'll read you the title. You'll get it immediately afterwards.
I was telling Beth, I was telling Beth, at my age, I can't do Pilates. I'm a mess. Gene Hackman was doing Pilates.
He's got you by 20 years or more.
I know.
You can't do
Pilates? No, I'm like, that's just too exhausting. I can't do it. Pilates. Because my wife does Pilates. She loves it. She thinks it's the greatest.
It's a great exercise. I do too.
I walk by the room when
Robin does Pilates. You got to be kidding me.
There's our lie of the day. Thanks a lot. Does she lift her leg from a chair?
I think she reads it as plates because she finishes so many.
She's doing it, and I'm like, that's not for me.
It would be so good for you.
No, I have trouble just laying on the floor flat on my back. Like I don't even straighten out.
You can't get up. You can't straighten out.
No, I'm like a turtle. Oh, forget it. So anyway, the initial.
She just said Pilates. She wrote down Pilates turtle. And I started laughing because I didn't even need to hear the audio. Oh, Christ.
You talked about this before when they were discussing yoga. And that, I guess, his trainer Pat was trying to get him to do yoga, and he's like, I can't even lay flat on the ground. That's the stupid hump on your back, you idiot, because you never stand up straight. Nor did you try or care. Yeah,
No.
you're a veal.
Isn't Pilates like doing those planks and stuff like that when you're you're isolating your midsection essentially and giving it what Charles Atlas used to call dynamic tension. If you contract your muscles and then let go, you're giving your muscles a workout essentially.
Yeah, it's a lot of slow motions where you're holding, like almost like yoga, where you're holding a pose or a stance, and you're using your own body as resistance.
Yeah.
But it strengthens your core so well. After I had my first child, I was doing yoga and Pilates, and it got me right back in shape. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And I only had one kid at the time, so it was super easy. You just go every day and take these hour-long classes, and you felt great. Then when I got 2 kids, it became even harder. It was a juggling act. I did it for a while, but I had to go back to work after, my leave, and I was just like, oh, this sucks. Pilates is so good for you. And I believe Beth does it. I don't believe Rob does it. And Howard wouldn't even attempt it. No. He does push-ups against a wall, Fillmore. We've talked about this. A wall. He pushes off of a wall. He leans on it with like a 15-degree angle. Scott or whatever, 45 degree.
Scott Salem would piss in his face. You're talking push-ups.
So
yeah, the next one, guys, Beef just wrote the now deceased Michelle Trachtenberg a nice note. And apparently it was who was it that posted? It might have been Ariana Grande. I can't remember. No, it was Blake Lively posted about her. And one of the lines about Enty was she should, this sympathy note for this sympathy that she's, showing on Instagram or Twitter or whatever for Michelle Trachtenberg is bullshit because they didn't get along when she was alive.
Right. They did Gossip Girl together, and nobody liked Blake. She was just a pariah everywhere she goes. Kind of like Ryan Reynolds. I mean, those two are just, they have lost all of their fan base, if not, their friends in Hollywood as well.
Yeah.
Michelle's family turned down an autopsy. Her cause of death is currently listed as undetermined, but she had recently undergone a liver transplant. But
I didn't know that. That's heavy duty, a liver transplant.
Well, it's weird because last week, my wife has a pretty popular Instagram account based on animal rescue. And Michelle Trachtenberg was very big. I guess she followed Beth, and I hope I have this right. Beth should probably tell the story, but Michelle Trachtenberg used to slide into Beth's DMs all the time. And I think they were talking about getting together.
Yeah, right.
In New
Go ahead.
All right. If you're sliding into someone's DMs, that's not to just communicate with them. That's like you're hitting on them. That's a pickup thing. Yes. He has no clue what sliding into DMs even means.
Sliding into DMs. What the hell is it? So you know what? Someone told him, someone used that phrase, and he decided, I'm going to get hip, and I'm going to steal that and use it.
Yeah. Mr. Hip and Young Zoompa here. Okay.
Right.
New York, because there was something Michelle wanted to do about animal rescue. And, I mean, Beth could probably tell you the details, but she was all weirded out because she had just literally DM'd with her. So it was just.
So where is Beef? Why isn't she telling this story? This would be great if she could come on and give us some receipts, show us proof, give us the story. But no, nothing. She hasn't been on the show in a long time, pretty much since they allegedly been down in Florida.
Yeah,
we've been hearing about her, but we haven't seen or heard her really on video or.
She might need some extra plastic surgery work and needs to, got to be on the down low while she's healing, perhaps.
Sounds like it to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of those eerie things, you're like, wait a second. I was making plans to see her. They weren't friends by any means. They didn't really know each other, but they were kind of trying to establish some connection with this animal rescue. Something like that. The other dude,
you know what it sounds like? It's they weren't really friends. Beth was just trying her best to fucking get a hold of anybody in the business that's marginally like successful, so she could glom off them and maybe turn this into some ancillary fucking gig for her. Fuck off.
Any sort of star fucking that she could just reach out and like you said, glom onto.
Yeah.
That's their MO every single time. Get an invite to a party.
The height of desperation. My Christ. Next one, guys. I hope Beef does a post-mortem fashion shoot of Wiggy and dresses. The imagery is fantastic. Yeah.
You get left in your bed until you become a mummy, and then everybody will be sure.
Yeah, I told Beth, you could. I said, but don't rush to call the coroner or whoever. I guess the coroner. I don't rush to call anybody. Just let me lay there for a few weeks. Make sure I'm.
Are you kidding? She will have a wake in the house with wherever your body fucking laid, and you will be used as a drink tray, asshole. Fucking hell. Like that hair, you could easily stack like a fucking punch bowl on that hair, and it won't fall.
And she's going to take his guitar, turn it over, and start doing lines off of it. I cannot wait.
Fuck yeah. You're gonna all those they're gonna take all the Limp Bizkit Platinum Record Award and do coke off it. Look at this Paul McCartney guitar you can complain wasn't from the Beatles. How much you want for this? How about a blowy?
If I had my way, I'd just pour cat litter all over them and let the cats have at it.
Yeah. It wouldn't be surprised. Like that imagery is just too much. Next one is, and I love this clip. Name dropping two washed up rockers.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you a little. How about me being texting with Sammy Hagar this weekend?
What?
Heard from Samala.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell was he telling me? He was asking me how my guitar playing was going. He's been very supportive.
He's been very supportive. Clearly, he hasn't heard any of his fucking guitar.
No, I'm sure of it.
Why would you ask how it was going? Just listen. If you were listening, clearly he's not listening. He probably heard Howard talking about guitar or heard one bit and figures, well, he must be better by now. No, he mustn't.
I think Howard just texts him and he's like, yeah, I'm learning this song and that song on the guitar.
Right.
And Sammy's all, trying to get him to come on stage with them for his 9 shows in Vegas. And Howard's just pathetic. I mean, we've heard him play. It took him months to even try to attempt AC/DC Back in Black. And he's horrible at it. Horrible. Oh, by the way, Sammy is 77 and John Bon Jovi is 63.
I knew John Bon Jovi was in his 60s, but not exactly. And I knew Sammy was well over like 75 or something like that at this point. It's actually, he's amazing. He's alive considering. I mean, but he wasn't
for 77.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, you could look a lot worse. I mean, Christ, look at Clint Eastwood. He's in he's close to 90 now, I guess, or if he's not 91, right. 92, and he's still going. But, Sammy Hagar, my God, one of the most diabolical fucking, just the fact that they went from David Lee Roth to this guy in Van Halen was all I needed to fucking see. And I like some Sammy Hagar tunes actually with Van Halen, but by and large, there's just no comparison.
Some of the hits, I can take. And he had some pipes back in the day. I'll give him that. Yeah. But I was always in love with David Lee Roth, so he could never replace him.
No, not even close.
Right, the weekend I saw John Bon Jovi. Really? We hung out.
I saw Mark Kiefer from Cinderella. I hung out with Jeff Keith from Tesla. I mean, like, what the fuck? Who's next? He's going to start naming some dead celebs from Motley Crue, John Corabi from that shitty Motley Crue album.
You know what I find interesting? All this, like, hanging out with John and his wife, Althea.
Yeah.
Is his son is married to Millie Bobby Brown, but he's never, ever mentioned her. Never brought up that connection. All he said is John has a really good-looking son, but he's never brought up their marriage. I don't think he even was invited.
Oh, no.
And he's probably been mandated that any gathering that she's at, Howard's not allowed to go to.
Oh,
Guaranteed.
I'm certain she heard that fucking agent fucking bit, where when she was still underage and he was going on about that. Do you think that didn't get back to her back then?
Absolutely. And this is why John and Althea will go out to dinner with Howard and Beth.
Yep.
But it's exclusively just the four of them. No one else is in that circle. And that's just like, John's probably like, nah, he's an old friend. He lives down the street. What the fuck?
Right.
Dinner.
Yep.
But.
So let's go with this one. The good thing his grandson was sick.
Saw John and Dorothea, and we had a great time, and it was John's birthday.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. So happy birthday, John. And he looks great. I didn't ask how old he was. I don't want to know, but he looked good.
What'd you get him? A stiletto, asshole? The next one, Sammy clearly hasn't heard 79 play guitar yet.
And but then I got a text from Sammy Hagar asking me how I was doing with the guitar. And I go, Sammy, I suck. So he goes, dude, Sammy's nuts. He goes, dude, you've got we're doing a residency in Vegas. I want you to come up on stage. The crowd will go nuts if you do a song. I go, are you fucking nuts? What song of Van Halen could I play?
What are you going to sing?
Yeah, what am I going to, yeah, what? I was playing that AC/DC Back in Black. That's taken me months to learn that.
AC/DC is what a 12-year-old learns and perfects inside of a week. It's that simple. Most of AC/DC.
I've clipped it, guys. We'll get to it. We're just going with whatever's most current whenever we record because it's all shit. But never fear, when he goes on spring break for 2 weeks and then this summer while he's off, we're saving all the clips. So we'll get to them eventually. You'll hear them, but you're not missing much. I can guarantee that.
Guys, we're going to go into March 4th officially, and this one first clip is Andy Cohn, spelled C-O-N-E, as you like, taunting Wigtardo. I love this.
We're sitting at home the other day, and Beth got a text, or I don't know, an email. I don't know how they contact her, but they're anxious to speak to her about joining the New York Housewives.
Again?
And again, yeah, this is Andy Cohn's operation, the Housewives situation. For some reason, I'm particularly insulted by this because, I think, Howard Stern's wife isn't going to be on New York Housewives. It's kind of insulting to me that,
it's not insulting to her. It's insulting to him.
Right. But that would be such gold if somehow they got cameras in that house of theirs, in that mansion. But we've never seen the inside of the Florida one, only the Hamptons. So I'm very curious what goes on down there.
Did they custom build that one in Florida?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they renovated it when they moved in, I believe.
Because I thought maybe if it existed before and we could check out what it used to look like and get an idea. But we see what their fucking Hamptons place looks like. I'm sure it's just as ugly.
Well, Beth Fanpage has a theory that $1 million closet she got was actually like a cosmetic center for her to get Botox and him to get peels and whatever minor surgeries they could do, fillers, things like that, eye lifts, dental work.
Oh, you mean the $10 million closet that they needed to create or whatever?
10 million? Yes, whatever it was for. We've never really seen the closet, so we don't know. You know what I mean? We don't know anything about this place. It's a big mystery. We've never seen the inside, just outside, aerial shots.
Yeah. Well, but I don't understand the concept. They're going to pay for a clinic in their house?
Well, like a chair and whatever instrumentation they need as far as lighting, equipment.
For home plastic surgery visits?
Yeah.
Those calls? Well,
that's what Beth Fanpage says. That's not my theory. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it is possible. If you made it to hospital standard, which first of all, I think you'd have to have a license. You'd have to get a license to treat, call it, to get the the gear, I suppose, and get it hygienic enough for operations to occur, then I suppose so. But I don't imagine. I can't imagine that's. I mean, I think independently you could do it to hospital standard, but not get it certified. There's no doctor that would go out there and treat them like that.
I disagree. I know that you can go to tattoo shops and get Botox. It's not
really?
like, oh yeah, it's
I didn't
very
know
easy
that.
to get these things. They sell them online now. It's almost like your pet meds. You can get pet vaccines by mail. You can get, the weight loss drugs you can get by mail with telehealth. So
wow.
Why not have, some esthetician come to your house and perform these fillers and Botox for you?
And while you're at it, take my nose off a few inches.
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, it's entirely possible, but I don't know. I think she really has so much crap they need to make an airport hangar for her fucking clothing. So she's she might be a rail, but she's got a lot of little thin clothing for him to not care about because he's in the other wing. We'll play the rest of it, guys, and then
let's say my fame and everything had gone away. And so, I might be desperate to be on a reality show with my wife or something. And but don't you think it's sort of an insult to me when New York Housewives?
First of all, you've said what you think of the women on those shows.
They're nuts.
I mean, Andy knows this, and Beth has turned them down several times.
Yeah,
and yet they.
Yeah, he is trolling him. Absolutely. He is trolling him. Mm-hmm. He's also, it's not just it's trolling. It's an outright insult. He's saying, we know what level your fucking wife is at this point, and you too. And we're going to throw you a bone. And I know you're going to turn it down because your ego won't take it. And because you're deathly afraid of her going somewhere to be filmed or have a camera inside. And we can offer it any time. And without whatever money, you won't take it.
Free promo for Andy.
Yep.
And Howard even said he doesn't blame Andy directly. He thinks it's the
network,
the show people
Bravo,
who do the recruiting. For the cast.
Yeah.
Whoever recruits for the cast, he's blaming them.
But if I were Howard, I'd be blaming Andy because Andy to go after, like, you'd have to be a Howard fan to care about those two and to want to get them. So I think he knows it's under directive of Andy.
Well, and Howard's too much of a puss to go directly after Andy.
Yep.
So that's his passive aggressive way at saying it, but he knows. And that's why he's talking about it.
And this is a longer one, guys. It's Mr. Marbles insulted by Andy, the queen of trolls, and he certainly is.
I end up yelling, to no one in particular, I guess to Beth. And I make it all about me. I go, wait a second. Do they think I'm such a non-celebrity that you would go on New York Housewives?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I think they're looking for a celebrity husband.
Well, it's two things. They know you're not a celebrity anymore, and they know your wife is desperate, and they know you're desperate as well for ancillary fame. But he wants it for himself, not really for her. Go ahead.
Well, according to him, she's turned down Dancing with the Stars also.
Yes.
He makes up all these jobs that he's like, no, you can't do that. And this is another one.
I believe she was offered Dancing with the Stars because she's young enough that she could probably pull off some of the dances, I suppose. And also she's also sort of half famous enough to get on there and look like desperate enough. Because everybody on that Dancing with the Stars, I'm trying to think, they had she was famous a long time ago. Jennifer Grey was on it at one point.
Yeah, but do you remember the gif of her dancing with Marianne and Howard?
Yes.
On one of those Good Morning America shows.
Right.
She has no rhythm. There is no
awful.
way she would just trip over her hoofs if she was on this Dancing with the Stars. Forget it. Not a chance.
That's why I would love it.
Yeah, I know.
Don't you?
Yeah, but I mean, listen, I get paid a decent. First of all, they don't pay anybody on those shows. They don't pay them well. Let's just put it that way.
Just picturing Beth doing the Philly slop. Fuck her.
I'm not going to go give free services to the New York Housewives and access to my home.
Vehicle house.
Yeah, what promotion do I need? I'm not at the beginning of my career trying to make it.
Well, maybe
I mean,
You're at the end of your career trying to make it.
You need promotion, buddy. You need
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Beth has something to promote. Maybe that's what Andy's thinking.
like they wouldn't go to Richard Gere and his wife. They wouldn't go to.
Are you kidding? Sure, they would if they could. They thought they could.
No,
get her.
no, but that's the point. They go, look, we can't get Richard Gere. You know, I could understand if they went to like the Naked Cowboy's wife, okay? And then they go, well, let's see, Naked Cowboy's wife and Howard Stern's wife. Let's go after. And I take it as a personal insult. I do. It's like, come on,
Well,
Andy.
this is your buddy Andy. Why is he insulting you?
Yeah, I mean, I guarantee you, Amal Clooney hasn't the email from her agent. They want you on New York Housewives. Give me a fucking break.
Well, she hasn't because Clooney is a movie star.
And it's another bad comparison. Putting themselves on the same level as George and Amal. No,
Right.
Can't do it.
No way.
I thought I was famous enough where they'd go, there's no fucking way. Don't even bother, you know. But I think they think I'm such a douche. I take it like that. Yeah.
Yes,
he'd probably let his wife on. Not that I have control over that, but I'd have.
The first thing out of his mouth was he'd probably let her do it.
Who, Howard?
That's the way. They figure he'd probably let his wife do it. Not that I have control over her, but the first thought out of his mind was that it had to go through me. I had to give my okay for her to do that show before it would happen. Not,
Andy,
she'd be insulted. She's too big for that shit.
Well, Andy knows that he was going to say no to this.
Sure.
This is just his way of torturing Howard, which I absolutely love.
I love it.
Dangling the carrot in front of beef.
Yep.
To be like, don't you want to be famous and be with all these rich women drinking all the time and fighting, and you could just be the good one.
But I could also see Beth hearing about this. And then, like, if she knows about this, and she knows, not hearing about it, but she knows it, and she's probably had the conversation with him, like, maybe I should do this, maybe, like, she probably wants to be out there. She is such a fame whore.
She probably wants to be in the background, not like one of the main characters, and then have it where they'd never film at their place. She's probably come up with every sort of situation where maybe, just maybe, I could be on one episode. Get it on my IMDb, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
He ought to talk to Andy.
Another herself on credit.
Andy and see what the reasoning is.
To be a New York housewife, you got to let cameras into your house. Like I won't
all
even,
over the place.
Yeah. I don't even let my friends in my house, let alone cameras in my house from
You
from that
be able
operation.
to come out of your bedroom.
No, I'd be held hostage. I wouldn't even leave. Are they gone yet, honey? I'm coming out.
And then they want to drag you to these awful events that you don't want to go to.
Yeah, that's right. And Beth even said she would be the worst housewife ever because she's not confrontational. You got to be willing to fight with the other women. And she's not going to do that. She's like not a fighter. She's just kind of like whatever. And and to be
I guarantee she's a catty bitch. She puts that little sourpuss on her face in when you just see her in like the background of a video, if she's just resting bitch face, she is miserable. She's a cunt. I guarantee it.
I think so. And the sorry, my voice is getting a little my throat's getting a little clogged up, guys. Sorry. When she's confrontational, which first of all, she is confrontational, but on the air when she gets confronted, because she knows it's out there, it's being recorded. She wants it out there. She wants people to hear how fucking unhappy she is. She said, remember that one, it was Sotto Voce. It was like she was off the phone, but she wasn't. She goes, I hate him so much, or something like that. That phone conversation where she got pissed off at him. And like, she knows where her bread's buttered, but at the same time, she's not afraid to say, oh, fuck off. Because what's he going to do?
Right. Before they went to Italy, she was so fed up with his whining and bitching about that trip. She actually came on air and tore him a new asshole and was like, you are not fun. You are making this very difficult. And I'm tired of it. And I don't want to hear it.
Right.
So there's that.
Yep.
New York Housewife, you also, I mean, it seems like a lot of them do drink a lot.
That's
well,
and I don't blame them.
Alcohol involved deeply in the show, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't watch New York Housewives. I'm a Beverly Hills Housewives man, and I'm loyal to that show.
Interesting. Is that also produced by Andy?
Mm-hmm. He owns all of them. Atlanta.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Potomac, Michigan, and I don't know if there's.
There was a Jersey one at one point, but I don't think it exists anymore. Does it?
Right. No, I don't think it does.
No. The next one is Whackpacker Beef.
Andy has said it best on our show. The housewives are his whack pack. These are women who are desperate to be famous, or they were once famous, and now fame is kind of fading. Yeah. And it's their opportunity, and they're wacky. They're whack pack. It's like his version of, Beetlejuice.
Yes.
So what does that say about him offering Beth the job?
Exactly.
I think the big difference here also, asshole, is that whatever minimal salary these housewives are getting, they're getting it for being on the show. At the very least, Andy's paying them. He has to. Even if it's got to be a union production and they've got to make some kind of money, even the industry standard, like scale. But at least they're making money. The Whackpackers made jack shit coming on your fucking show for years, decades.
They might even be getting like wardrobe, like dresses and shoes out of it.
Maybe.
Stuff so that they appear to, at least for maybe a rental even, to have for a month and wear around town and then discard.
Not only that.
Sure. I never watch these shows, Fillmore, so I can't really say. I
don't either, but they could even be getting sponsorship, like if it's as seen on the Housewives, and some of these stores will say, look, could you wear these fucking, this purse, whatever, I'll give it to you if you just advertise for it. Like, yeah, fine, sure, whatever, it's free. It's, it's swag. That's something that you could benefit from. At least they're getting that. The Whackpackers didn't get, Poland Spring water, maybe if they were lucky.
Well, some of them have made money off of it. I forget her name. You guys, I know you're screaming it at the show right now, but she does the Skinny Girl vodka or Skinny Girl drinks. She's made tons of money. She was a housewife. I know that.
Yeah.
But then you have like Teresa Guidici, whose husband is like a felon and they're in court and divorcing or whatever. I don't even, like I said, I don't watch.
I would love for him to pronounce that name.
I know it. Yeah.
I'd pay money.
Or maybe it's Guidice. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that would be hysterical.
What? Because she's married to me, she's whack pack material?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's wrong with him? Here, Andy's on the phone. He wants to apologize to me. Hi, Andy.
Oh, my God. How?
Well, Beth is like a Hoover. She's like a Kirby vacuum for fucking Skittles. I mean, what else? Like someone, I think it was Josh on our Patreon who said when you said about candy.
Oh, yeah.
Beth loves Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
It didn't even occur to me until it was mentioned. And I'm like, oh, God, of course. Because I forgot, like, to me, you think of the title, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and you think it's just chocolate, but I forget that in the book, at least. I don't remember about the movies, but they also make candy as well.
Everlasting Gobstopper. Come on now.
Yeah. No, it's been, I haven't read the book since I was probably 7 or 8, and I loved it then. Danny, the Champion of the World was a great book too. I love Roald Dahl stuff. It's so good. The next one, his dreams are my nightmares.
If I would have been fortunate enough to have won for Best Actor when I put out my film, I'll be honest, I would have spoken for 5 hours.
We know.
I'd be thrilled. Which, by the way, I'm watching a lot of these movies. I'm being very bitter now. I think I should have been nominated for Private Parts. At least the film should have been nominated. And I'm not kidding. I'm not making a joke. I think the film was as good as any of these films that were made this year, even though I only saw 3 of them.
This is the story of Hollywood, Howard. People being overlooked for political reasons.
Yeah.
That's right, Robin. Give them some more rope. Come on.
Yeah.
Social reasons.
Everyone knows, Robin, that film of ours was the best film of the year. Everyone knows
People are still watching it.
People are still
All
watching
of these Academy Award winners you never see again.
That's right. I got I think a $2.40 residual check the other day for Private Parts. Unbelievable. Reicher Entertainment, $2.40.
Poor Reicher.
Thought they went out of business, but they're still writing checks.
I guess so.
So he brings it up. I think I clipped it. The film that won that year, best film, was Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks his film was the best film that year. And he also backtracks a little, so I'll wait till we get to it.
Right. L.A. Confidential was also nominated that year, and that was my favorite film that year. I love that film. Just can't watch it because of Kevin Spacey in it now. Number 5, Private Parts was a hacky fictional flop. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's what it was. You know, because like I was watching that Jesse Eisenberg movie, the one with Kieran Culkin, who makes the best speeches, by the way. Kieran Culkin.
He was great. Yeah,
he's really great. But like I saw that movie, and no offense to the guys who made that movie, Private Parts was a better movie than that movie. It just was.
Well, it was Jesse's first movie, so.
Whatever it was. I'm not putting him down. I'm just saying my movie was better than his.
Yes, you are.
I didn't.
Jesse Eisenberg, the kid who played Lex Luthor, that fucking faggy fucking Lex Luthor in the last Man of Steel or whatever, that his film was worse than Private Parts.
I didn't see it.
I
know he's from Zombieland and Adventureland with Kristen Stewart, but
it's not his first film.
No offense, but I'm going to offend you anyway. He's such a dick.
Who, Howard or Jesse Eisenberg? I hate them both.
Well, I think they both are.
Yeah.
But he was the guy in The Social Network. He played Zuckerberg.
Yes.
He was good in that. I'll give him that. But he was playing a dick.
Yeah.
So it goes along like, is he like Spacey? Is he just a dick naturally in life that he can play it so well on screen? Could be.
He's one of those actors I wish would suddenly just dissolve into thin air. I mean, you wish like death on people. Some people do, or they wish, some people, met with an accident. I just wish he would cease to exist. I don't wish death on him. I wish whoever fucking handed him a contract to be like at some agency would, I don't know, be force fed Private Parts, locked in a room to watch Private Parts for like 20 days, nonstop with their eyes propped open.
That's how I feel about Ryan Reynolds. The more I hear about him and his antics on sets and in business.
And you think about him, he is one, like that guy, Ryan Reynolds, just off topic. He was in that Green Lantern, I think. He did Green Lantern, the DC fucking flop. Yeah, and Chris Evans, like these are two guys that like he was in the Fantastic Four, the shitty one. There hasn't been a good one. They're all shitty, and then managed to become Captain America, used in another franchise. A lot of people would never get that second chance to get the big blockbuster thing, Deadpool, whatever. If not for a bit of luck, Ryan Reynolds could very easily been at fucking KFC going, "You want extra crispy?"
Right. Well, the first film I saw him in was Waiting.
Yeah.
And that was a funny film.
Right.
But he was playing a dick. And so it comes naturally, I don't want to go off the rails too much.
No,
we're on a tangent.
Fine. Yeah.
But it's just when you start looking at some stories that people have told in the past and how they want nothing to do with him. Yeah. They won't even comment on him nowadays. It says a lot because usually people in Hollywood all know how to play the game, but when you're going out and publicly saying things about somebody that are damning or so bad, you can't even bring yourself to talk about them. Or you go, Ryan who? Never heard of him. Those are the kind of answers people are given about him now.
Yeah.
See the
Conclave. He's a billionaire.
Oh yeah. He's got fuck you money up the yin yang now.
He's got big money. Big money. I'm sorry. Keep going.
No worries.
But I thought the movie with Demi Moore was fantastic, The Substance. But
I never saw. By the way, guys, I've downloaded the Anora and the what's the one Conclave, the Isabella Rossellini film, and also the other one, the Brutalist. Those are the ones I sort of had interest in seeing, but I haven't seen any of them yet. I do. The guy that did Anora also directed the Florida Project, which was a fantastic movie, but but I'm interested to see how good it is or bad. But I haven't. I'm so lax with Academy Awards these days. I think Dune Part 2 might have been the only thing I saw that was nominated for anything.
Okay. Well, Anora was one of the ones that Howard saw, but it was about a Russian hooker.
Yeah.
So of course he saw that. The Substance was about, regaining your youth, and there was a lot of nudity, and it was just tits and ass, the whole thing. So of course he saw that one. I don't know the third one that he saw. I can't think of it. He didn't even talk about it. But he claims to be a bona fide, critic of the Academy in all these movies. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he also plays guitar. Next one, Delusion runs deep with this dipshit.
I mean, Titanic did win Best Picture of the year Private Parts came out. And okay, that was a really good fucking movie. And maybe I would have lost.
That was a technological feat.
Also, okay, here's the other bit of idiocy. Oh, yeah, sorry. No, he's right. The year it came, Titanic 98 was the Oscar season for that. But they both came out in 97. That's correct.
Right. Okay, I get it. So at least nominate Private Parts and give me best actor.
Ugh.
Wouldn't even get you.
All right,
you wouldn't get best soundtrack. You wouldn't get best costume design. How disappointing was that fucking soundtrack for that movie, Private Parts? Weren't you expecting at least that would be good?
I thought for sure there'd be some gems on there, but it was just all let down.
Yep.
The whole thing. I was embarrassed for him when it came out.
Yep.
But at least a nomination for Private Parts, the movie. So that, I would have been recognized for the because it was a great movie.
Pathetic. The idea that he's still going on about a film that at one point we played, I don't know, we didn't play audio, but he said he watched it with Beth. This would have been like 2010, 2011. And he said it was awkward to watch with Beth. Well, geez, it's about your first wife, asshole. I wonder why that you cheated on.
And your kids and being around porn stars and the kielbasa lady, like that all. Beth is not, she has none of the degenerate tastes. She's just like a Hallmark movie. You know what I mean? Like she's not into any like hardcore stuff. She's in the coffee house and the Hallmark Channel. So why would she be interested in your movie? Other than her dad and brothers, worshipped him. That's about it.
Seeing her dance, she probably fucks like old people walk. I mean, I imagine if you pay for this hooker, you want your money back. You definitely want. You're talking about the refund gap. You want a refund from this fucking Clydesdale. Now, I think that what I found fascinating now, he's gone the full 180, like the full 360 rather. He went from Private Part's going to be a blockbuster, like in 90, going 92 onward, like it's going to be great. 93, oh God, it's happening. We're getting all these scripts made, 5 years of promotion and it was a bomb. Then he couldn't get away from it fast enough. Now, 20 something years later, it was a great film. He's forgotten he's pushed aside all the negativity about that film and now thinks of it as in his mind, I made a movie.
He's always rewriting his history constantly.
Yeah. Yep.
And nobody's buying this. Nobody.
No. Next one, guys, I love this short clip, but it's good. Early dementia senior citizens need a buoy assist.
Isabella showed us that?
Yeah.
In a movie no one saw. What movie was she even in?
She was in that, what's the transgender movie?
Oh. I haven't seen oddly enough.
Conclave.
Oh, she's in Conclave, right.
No,
Isabella Rossellini.
Oh, it was Rossellini. I'm thinking of the other woman.
Isabella Rossellini.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Okay.
Di Stefano.
So she was confusing the transgender lady Gascon.
Yeah.
That was in Eva Perez.
Yes.
With Isabella Rossellini, who was in Conclave. Conclave.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see it. I did love that she wore blue velvet to the Oscars
as a tribute.
That's to David Lynch. That was just a fantastic movie with Dennis Hopper. But she did wear blue velvet, so I thought that was so sweet, even though she didn't win.
No. Next one, he spent over an hour on Ladyboys today.
Hunter Schafer, she wore a thing that looked fantastic with the titties and the whole deal, and I loved it. So I guess because I follow her, then I started getting on my Instagram tons of Ladyboys, and that's where I discovered Chinny, the Ladyboy.
Okay, no, it's not because you like if you were watching Hunter Schafer or you sub to her Instagram or whatever the fuck it is or TikTok, then you're going to get like all of a sudden this is a person in the business. Then you're going to get movies related to actors that she worked with. They're going to suggest, other people of the same age, whatever. You're not going to get fucking Thai Ladyboys on your feed.
I'm surprised he doesn't bring up her on Euphoria with Jacob Elordi, because Jacob Elordi is a very good looking guy, and he is right up Wiggy's alley as far as, taste in men goes.
Yeah.
But
is he Orlando Bloom twinkish?
I don't know that I'd call him a twink because he's pretty broad and tall.
Oh, okay.
He's a big guy.
Okay.
But he's very good looking. He's also very good at playing asshole. So question that. The other thing was Hunter Schafer wore a skirt, a long silk skirt, and then like feather across her boobs.
Okay.
That was one of the outfits. I don't know if that was an after party outfit. I don't think she was invited to the show. I think she was invited to the after party.
After party.
And he, is in love with her, but that's fine. She's really pretty. But the Ladyboy talk, and finding it on your Instagram, like back to what you were saying, there's an algorithm. And if you click on the right things, you're going to get tons of it. Tons of it. And if you Google ads about, trips to Thailand and Ladyboys there and videos, and it's all connected. Yes. And your phone is going to lead you in that direction. So
even if you're going incognito, even your incognito is translating, dude.
Even on a VPN, it's still going to come back to you, and that's his treat after dinner. Just remember, guys.
I can't fucking believe that.
And then now when you go on my feed, it's 75% trans women.
Wow.
And I like it. I like watching it. I sit there each time and go, can't believe that used to be a guy. I love doing that whole thing. I love transformation. And
I don't know if that makes you a fan.
I don't know what it makes me.
I don't know what it makes you. Yeah, I don't either.
I sit there and I'm looking. I'm fascinated, and I have to say, now I'm getting videos where it says like they'll have the things scrolling like scrolling across the screen. It'll go, if you're watching this, you're obviously attracted to Ladyboys.
It says that?
Or it says, you're pretending like you're not into Ladyboys, but you are. It's accusing me of wanting to bang a Ladyboy.
Yes. And so where's that coming from? Why is Instagram
I don't know why I
saying
need
that to you?
I don't know. I don't know why. Well, it's part of the video that the person makes.
I see.
But it's now videos angrily telling me what I'm into.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, Lord. I can't even believe it. All right, let's keep going, guys. Demented Degenerate is just trolling us now.
They're like, do you mind being called Lady Boy? And Chinny goes, I like, some people get offended, but I don't. I like being Lady Boy. I like it because I am not a lady, but I'm not a boy, so I'm Lady Boy. And they're like, oh.
I think, what does Howard think about this?
That's gay.
I mean, I don't know. Pardon me. Like, my God, like, what am I supposed to do when I hear this kind of shit? There's not my issue is not just that.
I'll go for the fair.
I mean, it's not just that he's actively going, like you say it's trolling. I don't even know if that he's smart enough to troll. I think he's actually, to be honest with you, I think he loves it's like a metaphor for when he's on Letterman dressed as a woman and pulls up his skirt near the end and tries to show his dick essentially. This is the audio version of that. I want to show you my ladyboy parts or whatever. Or I want to show you I want to come out. I think his life has been a lifelong crawl to this narrative.
This is what he's aspired to.
Yep.
His whole life. And it's almost like he's found, gold at the end of the rainbow with this. And he will not let it go. When I say an hour, I mean, that hour felt like 12 hours.
Yeah.
Listening to this. I had to stop. I had to put my phone down and just walk away and play some music for a bit and come back in 5 minutes just to clear my brain, my palette of what my ears are hearing.
Yeah.
Is so torturous.
Yeah.
And it's again the funny voice. He thinks he's funny.
Yeah.
He thinks he doesn't know he's being offensive.
Yeah.
He doesn't know he sounds like an idiot. And it's the same repetitive stuff over and over. I had another clip and I'm like, this is the same exact stuff. I can't repeat this. So I just delete it. And then I give you the longer of the two, which I'm kind of regretting now. But okay.
We'll play the rest of it.
It's all Ladyboy all the time.
Really, Howard? This is what you spend your time.
I love it. I'm telling you, if I'm not practicing the guitar, I'm watching Ladyboy videos on it.
Okay, right. I'm going to go right back there. He goes, if I'm not playing guitar, I'm watching Ladyboy, and he almost said Ladyboy porn.
Can you go back? I want to hear that.
Yep. 1 sec.
I'm telling you, if I'm not practicing the guitar, I'm watching Ladyboy videos on Instagram.
See?
Yep. There it is.
Yeah.
He's all, oh my God. That's why he was so worried about getting porn down in Florida.
Yep. You got it.
He's watching all this Ladyboy porn. Oh my God.
There you go.
I don't know. I like it. I'm into it. You're not Ladyboy. Yeah, you Ladyboy. I know some people get offended, Ladyboy. But I don't get offended. Because I do. I Ladyboy.
He's at the end of the rainbow, but there's a piece of glass in between him and that pot of fruity gold. And the glass is, he's not willing to do it publicly. Come out and just say, I want to be at least a transsexual. Like I want to dress like a woman, rather than I want to give up my sexuality, or I want to at least cross dress. And he's not able to do that. But you could do that. Who cares?
That's what these Ladyboys do. They keep their genitals.
Yeah.
And they just dress up like beautiful, gorgeous women, which is what he's always dreamed of. I'm telling you, this is this embodies him and his deepest desires his whole life. Now, it's going to get deeper.
But this is what I don't understand. And maybe someone else can be demented enough to go research it for me, because I'm not about to do it. So I don't know what Ladyboy porn entails. That's a Ladyboy that fucks a man, or a Ladyboy fucks a woman, because if they've still got their junk, they could do either.
So when Chinny was interviewed with the boyfriend, they do dick stuff.
Yes.
I'm not sure what that exactly means, whether it's just manipulation or penetration. They didn't get that specific.
Sounds pretty fruity to me. Sorry.
Yeah. Either way, the guy identifies as hetero.
Yeah.
Chinny's boyfriend, and definitely does not ignore Chinny's dick. So you figure that one out. That's,
Guys, just watch the end of M. Butterfly and you'll know what I'm talking about with the Jeremy Irons film. The next one, more about his after-dinner treat. Pot of gold.
If 2% of the population is transgender, 95% of my feed is transgender. So I don't know what's going on. That's my point. But Chris.
Okay, wig math. He just said it was 75%. Now it's suddenly 90%.
Sure.
Of his feed. Okay, got it. Just
why
not 79?
Yep.
No women are breaking into that feed.
No, I got women on there too, but so now I'm confused. Every time there's a woman, I go, "Is this guy got? Is this
a real woman?"
Yeah. Like, what is going on?
That's fun.
I don't know what is happening. I don't know who to trust.
Keeps you on your toes.
They also have these on my feed, like really sexy women, and then like you're looking, and then you look down, and their panties is a big cock. You know what I mean? Like you see the outline of their cock, and I'm like, whoa, that took me by surprise.
Pickle surprise.
Yeah,
it's not taking me by surprise.
Oh, that's hysterical. These guys are all laughing it up with him, but
I believe
they all know. They
believe,
have to know.
I believe we have another theme coming up soon, guys. A brand new Ladyboy theme. Next one, wig check, guys.
I just looked in the mirror. I know my hair doesn't look good. I got it cut, and I cut it a little shorter, and it looks a little too frizzy and curly, right? Or does it look okay?
It looks...
As opposed to what? Straight and flat? Cocksucker? What the fuck? You've always got this Rhea Perlman do. Come on.
Pretty good, I thought.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't want to look unattractive to you, you know, in case you come out of retirement.
Fuck's sake.
So that's why I sent you that picture today, was for this clip.
I love it.
Again, he's got his wig so far back, it's like 6 inches back off his forehead.
Yes.
So that it's like in the middle of his cranium. And then the rest of it, the curls are not as manufactured as they have been in the past.
Right.
And it's sort of, it's not quite the COVID wig that.
Oh, the early Zoom,
like
the early Zoom
like
wig.
Bozo the clown. Yeah, the early Zoom wig.
Yeah.
But it definitely was frizzier and shorter. So chances are he got some new wig glue and put on a new system, or traded in the old one for a newer model.
The last one, guys, ChatGPT counsels wig on his Ladyboy love.
Well,
wonder why I get
able to get rid of your therapist.
Yeah, I know.
She's very good.
Why do I get an erection when I look at Ladyboys?
It's natural to have different attractions and responses. If you have questions about your feelings, talking to a professional can be really helpful.
Oh, I'm not telling that to my psychiatrist. I have one, but I don't. I have trouble being honest.
Perfect. I have this is thank you, LW.
Yeah.
You said it perfectly in the comments as well. Just recently, thank you. That he's been telling lies to his psychiatrist since forever. Because if he actually told the truth, his mind, the psychiatrist would probably run away.
His head would implode.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, there's that, and so he's got this app on his phone, the ChatGPT app.
Yeah.
It's like he's got a new friend, Fillmore. He talks to it, like asking it this and that about the guitar, and then he'll tell, like today he had a whole conversation with it about his guitar.
Yeah.
And then he had it about the Ladyboys and what should he do, or, why does he have an erection when he watches it? Okay, first of all, that's a huge tell.
Oh, yeah.
Why are you asking that? Of all things that you could say, like, why is my feed constantly presenting me with Ladyboys? I've tried, clicking on other things. He's not hiding anything right now. Nothing. All the cards are on the table.
Well, just this, everybody out there in QF land, if you have ChatGPT or some equivalent, why don't you do this? Why don't you do us this solid? Because I don't want my phone to ever have this on there. I don't want to search for this and let it get in my fucking ads. But search something like, why does my feed only show me Ladyboy porn or whatever? And see what ChatGPT tells you. And I'd love to hear the audio. Send it to me if you can. Facebook message it or whatever, or email it to me. It's jimfix76@gmail.com if you want to send any audio that you might have. If it's audio feed, if it's just text, then whatever. You can send me the write-up that it does. So we'll finish this one off.
Understandable to feel that way. Opening up might be tough, but it can really help. When you're ready, sharing these feelings can lead to better support and understanding.
Well, thank you so much. That really helps. And have a good day.
We're done now for the clips, guys, but I did have one thing I wanted to read from the KC Saga Part 6, I believe. Joe posted this from the 13th of February, and I thought it was a great post. And I just told him I would read it, so here it goes. Bear with me. Good stuff. Casey may be one of the most tragic figures on the show's history when you look at every dimension. I'm on a night shift, so let me get down a rabbit hole. You guys were joking about how Robin would have been primed for Jonestown or some other 70s death cult. Obviously, her interest in Landmark and her past rides with 15 Foundation and whatever else has come and went are indicative of how vulnerable her ego is. I think that the thing that got overlooked is Robin is in a cult. She's in the cult of Howard Stern. What I mean by that is this. Stern obviously had a fascination with mystic experiences based on his living in a religious compound in silence and grabbing onto TM. I think Stern is too impatient to have ever acknowledged or immersed into the allegory of symbolic nature of spirituality. However, he still practices the basic principles of a cult leader, especially pertaining to the occult. Howard is obsessed with hypnosis and autosuggestion. Howard is also obsessed with manifesting his self-seeking ideas and dreams into reality. He is definitely what is considered a practitioner of black magic as it pertains to putting forth energy for self-satisfaction that can't be harnessed even by Howard himself. I'm not saying magic exists, but I'm lining up these cult archetypes, and there is a definitive energy that is black or white. I also think the overlying darkness in Howard's life stems from this negative way of conducting himself. Howard is also obsessed with exploiting people to the stripped-down form for financial gain. Sounds like a cult leader. All this to say, Howard may be emotionally/spiritually/mentally crippled, but he's a tremendous imitator and manipulator. He's a very human being that is seeking spiritual experiences through his ego and financial power, and Stern shared some of that just with Robin as his right hand at an early and obviously fragile time of her life. Many cult leaders have a chosen one, quote unquote, person, often of the opposite sex. Stern, for all intents and purposes, engages in cult leader behavior. He tells on himself a lot, but his king of all media trip was a great example. Autosuggestion was the technique he used. I just say it until it's true. This is a primary application of TM. This is also a concept heavily exploited in MK Ultra, which had some brushings with the TM and hippie drug scene in the 60s. Robin is a monster, but Stern knew she could be controlled and a good running dog if she was manipulated by money and success, and he shared just enough to keep her under his thumb for 40 years. Stuck working in a rare night shift, thought I'd have a go into that thought while I had it. Great episode, folks. And I thought that was a phenomenal post.
Love that post. I somehow missed that. I try to get to all the comments, but if they're put up after a week, after a show's been out, I don't always see them. So I try to, within the first week, revisit stuff. Great exposition on cults and Howard and his negative thinking and Robin. And that is, wow, that's a lot to dwell on right now, because so many instances and examples throughout the 40-year plus history of these two.
Yep.
And the way he's strung her along and given her money and cars and jewelry and done stuff for her and given her this fantastic life, even though she's tried to ruin it with her horrible real estate deals.
Oh, yeah.
All of her falling for grifting scams, even now with her investing genius that she claims to be. But yeah, I mean, Bring Back Jackie's roasted her pretty good on that with NVIDIA and what she was calling for that. I can't even speak that language of stock market, but you can look him up on Twitter. He's great. So thank you for that post.
Incidentally, guys, Raven says it perfectly. She actually is really back to people's posts in a timely fashion. If I'm a little if I lag a little at that, it's because I'm trying to play catch up with uploading the episodes and editing them. So I will get to everything after a while. It's just a hard time to navigate through the Facebook stuff, then YouTube, and then also Patreon, and try to make sure. And even on Podbean, to get comments I have to respond to. So I'll get to it. If I don't, by all means, PM me if you have some point you really want me to make. For example, someone has requested the Jesus Twins first appearance as a walkthrough, and I think it's a great idea. I'd love to do it. Just got to find whoever really wants dibs on that one, because, well, that's one where you really just got to get the popcorn and listen. It's not so much one that needs much analysis, but anyway.
Do you ever feel like you hear the saber dance going through your head while you're going through your day of QF work? Because that's how I picture you, spinning plates and hearing that saber dance.
Well, my multitasking usually entails doing something while listening back to the show to edit and then put it on my phone. Here's where the edit is. Here's where the edit is. If I was smart, I would have a piece of paper and notebook here, and I would just write down the edits before. But I have to re-listen physically because sometimes it's not like if the recording didn't turn out, I have to hear that. It can't be just assume that this is the only edit, because there might be something in the middle where the mic went or something like that, and all of a sudden I've got to fix that in post. So but otherwise I'm doing dishes, I'm cooking, whatever, and I'm going, oh no, got to edit that out. So the other thing is, guys, the dedication is from Raven. Hit it with us, Raven.
You wanted to read blinds? You told me to remind you.
No, it was just about Patreon. I don't think I have too many blinds, but let me just check to make sure. Let's see. Hold on. No, that one we read. That one. Oh, here's one. There's two. Let's get these two out of the way, and then we can wrap this up. Entertainment Lawyer 227. The demise. At one point, this actor host was everywhere, and just about A+ list. Now you would be hard pressed to find anyone who remembers him, even though it has only been a handful of years since he disappeared off the radar. It isn't often that one person can destroy himself that quickly and effectively, but he managed to. The first mistake was sleeping with the head of a network's daughter. The second mistake was sleeping with the daughter's mom. The third mistake was bragging about it to everyone. His career was over in an instant. Craig Kilborn. I never knew that.
Wow, I didn't even read that blind. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
What a skeevy guy. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that vibe from him.
I never liked him. I thought he was he was the opposite of Craig Ferguson. Completely unlikable. Smarmy, like full of himself, and just really not even, I hated him. This next one's from the same day. This radio show is going to start paying the illiterate former talk show host each week, but in a way no one can touch the money but the former host, Wendy Williams. So probably the Breakfast Club or whatever, like one of the shows that loves having her on.
Mm-hmm. That would be fantastic. Finally, get her back with the public and other people that are in the industry who admire her and are willing to give her the respect that she deserves. Mm-hmm. All these years she's been saying stuff and everyone's been like trying to sweep her under the rug and get her to take less meaningful jobs or, put baby in a corner kind of thing. Well, and her voice is so loud and so booming, and she's always stood for everything that she's spoken about. So I am so thrilled to hear that, and I hope she does make it back into pop culture the way we want her.
Me too. And guys, incidentally, it's one of those things where, and they say they're going to keep the money independent of her money, so that the conservator can't do anything about it, presumably. If she does make it through, there's a blind that I don't think we read, but I did send it to Raven at one point, saying that Diddy was the one responsible for getting her incarcerated, basically put away in the loony bin, so that she couldn't say more about him. She's already said plenty about him. I don't know that I believe that blind, but it wouldn't surprise me. He certainly it doesn't seem to be above doing something like that to not protect his good name. But this would have been before the cops raided his compound.
Right. He has the money and the power to quell somebody like that and get conservatorship,
tie them up
over them, and pay off family members to shut up and to look the other way, basically, while this woman controls her life who has nothing to do with her. Is just so strange how that all went down. Yeah. Right.
So you got a New Order dedication for this one from Technique.
Right. The song All the Way. I was listening to them on my Spotify channel this week. I've been a fan since high school, and I heard this song, and it made me realize, not that how growth is possible for most of us that are, down to earth, real people who've been through challenges and learned about ourselves and got back up and kept going in life, even when shit was hitting the fan. And it's kind of the opposite of Wiggy's life, because he just can't see the real him. He can't be himself ever. He's always being a character or what he thinks he wants us to see. So this song made me just kind of look back, and when I heard it as a kid was a lot different than hearing it now as an adult with my own family and seeing people like Howard who have never grown or learned or developed any sort of depth in their life even age like 71 where he is. And I just love the song. I think it's a great one, and it's kind of inspirational. So I hope you guys enjoy it too.
Guys, if I could have made that cover for the Substance into a Photoshop, I would have already. New Order's very sparse. The design aesthetic for most of their albums and singles is very, very minimal. So I didn't. So that's hence the System of a Down Photoshop. However, the alternate song was going to be Phil Collins' "Take Me Home" because of the chorus, but that would have been more suited to a breakdown where he's talking about how he can't, navigate anywhere and he can't walk. So we'll save that for another time. In the end, at the end of the day, thank you so much, Raven. Always awesome, always first class when you do the gig, when you do the clipping and the titling, and of course, song selections always thoughtful and right. And you guys, thank you guys for listening. We love you, and take care and get ready for spring weather.
Thanks. Love you guys.
I want children.
Oh, no. Can you stop this?
I'm going to poke a hole in all your rubbers tonight.
Oh, you fuck.
I want to have the Stern Empire.
Can't we stop talking about this?
Hey, this is Grandma Stern. Hey, I want another grandson.
Grandma Stern, how are you? I know you got hit by a car and died.
Are you talking from heaven?
Are you talking to me from heaven?
Oh, Miss Sugar, it sucks up here.